Hello, my name is Cameron Waddell, and today I will be comparing the 5 different parenting styles and their effects on children. This is a guide for parents of all ages. Diana Baumrind in the 1960s came up with the first 3 of these parenting styles, including authoritarian, permissive, and authoritative. Uninvolved and over-involved have been added in more recent years, but they are still very apparent in the world and are very, very common. Authoritarian parenting is where the parents will establish rules and they will not allow for disobedience. The parents normally are distant and cold towards their children, and they expect a level of maturity that most children cannot actually provide. In this circumstance, children normally learn to be obedient because any disobedience is met with more severe discipline than would normally be appropriate. The effects of this type of parenting on the children is they will, of course, fear their parents. They will suppress emotions, which sometimes will lead them to take their frustration out on others and become bullies. They also can not make decisions for themselves, as they have always been told exactly what to do. This sometimes leads to the children trying to follow the perfect life that their parents laid out for them, even if they don't really know if that's what they want to do. Permissive parenting is where parents will try to be a friend with their children more than an authority figure. These parents are communicative and warm, but they do not give their child structure, which is needed in the early years and even later years in life. The children get to make their own rules and decide what they want to do every day and what they want to eat and all of those big decisions. And they do not have any discipline for choosing what could be considered the wrong choice. Their parents did not set up boundaries for them, so there is no rules to tell them what they did is wrong or what they did is right. The effects that this has on children is that they will lack self-discipline. This can also lead to insecurities, which mainly stem from the fact that they don't know the limits of the world or even their own limits. They do not have conflict resolution skills, and they are normally inconsiderate to peers. This is because they've never been told no in their life, so whenever their friend says that they can't eat all their food, they're going to be upset about it. The authoritative parenting style is where parents will establish boundaries and rules and expect their children to follow these, but they will also allow for communication and they will still be affectionate towards their children. They do not over-discipline their children. In this circumstance, discipline matches the offense. The effects that this can have on the children is that they will be able to handle their own problems. This is because in life they learned that difficulties were a thing and they did come across them, but they had support and help to get them through those. They can appropriately express their opinions and their emotions because in their life with their parents they have been taught to communicate with them. They are also independent and they can act on their own accord because they don't need their parents to make the decisions for them or explain their emotions to them. Uninvolved parenting is when parents are disengaged from their children, they are non-responsive, and they tend to ignore and push away their child. The child does not have any demands, and they can act freely and creatively. And there's no discipline in the household because the parents do not have any reactions to what the child does. The effects that this can have on the children is they will have extreme feelings of loneliness, which can lead to them suffering in school and in their peer relationships. They'll have a distrust of themselves and others. They'll have insecurities and a negative self-image, and they will form insecure attachments, meaning they won't be able to have any healthy relationships in their later life. Over-involved parents are parents who are very present in their children's lives, and they try to remove all obstacles from their children's path. They're normally called helicopter parents or micromanagers or many different things. The parents do not allow for a negative experience in the children's lives, meaning that the child does not have any discipline because they never get to have a bad experience. The effects that this can have on children is that they will become very dependent. Nope. I made a weird noise. Oh no. Okay. The effects that this can have on the children is that they will be very dependent. They can't overcome any obstacles on their own because they've never been allowed to. They have avoidant behavior. They don't like doing difficult things, and they don't care about them. Anything that takes too much effort, they will completely try to procrastinate against and avoid. They also have no conflict resolution skills because they've never had to deal with conflict on their own. They've always had their parents around. This type of behavior can lead to issues with peer relationships as well, as they do not like conflict and they don't put effort into things, so their friends and peers don't want to be around them. All 5 of these parenting techniques are still used today. Each of them lead to different psychological effects on the children, whether it be good or bad. The authoritative and authoritarian have more structure in the children's lives, and that both helps the authoritative children and hurts the authoritarians. The permissive and uninvolved both have freedom, but it leads them to feel different psychologically. And then over-involved and permissive are so similar, but over-involved is just a more overbearing version. The permissive, uninvolved, and over-involved all have no discipline, and this leads the children to have issues with relationships. And there are many other similarities that can be seen between each of these that needs to be thought of throughout life. Now, why does this presentation matter? Well, it's so that you can better understand what effects you have on your children. It's also to bring awareness to the issues that are involved in a lot of these parenting techniques and how it negatively affects the children and their psychiatric development. This is also so that you can assess your own parenting style. You can listen to all of them and you can choose which one, or maybe choose parts of one that you like and parts of another that you like. And you can modify what you are currently doing and try to positively help your children from here forward. Thank you for coming to my presentation. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope that it helps you and that you will be able to positively affect children in the world.